years, just because we've gotten a couple 90-minute games. We've been together for quite some time. The guys came in fit. We have a few knocks, but for the most part, we've had a pretty healthy group going into preseason and throughout preseason. So, now it's just a matter of shaking off that rust, right? Usually the first couple games have a little bit of that, but how can we shake off that rust, get fresh legs on as well, and we know that we have such a deep roster that we can rely on a lot of guys.
When you look around the West, it's hard to, at least at this point, to escape the idea that LAFC seems to be the other team that's going to be the other obvious favorite for winning it. Do you look at this as a big test, or is it too early to look at games like that?
Yeah, I think it's always a big test. We see ourselves as one of the many clubs that compete year in, year out, and LAFC is also one of those. So it's easy for us to get motivated, to be ready for this game. It helps that we've kind of had our system in place now for a couple years, so hopefully that rust that we talked about kind of goes away. But we're in a good spot going forward, and LAFC, especially on the road, is always a tough test.
What does competitive depth give you?
Well, when injuries happen and we have a system in place, we know exactly where guys will fill in and how they've been doing in those positions during training. And then, we have a young squad, right? It's about getting those guys minutes. It's different than training. It's different than Tacoma games. And so it allows us to be able to rotate guys, get fresh, be fresh for the playoffs, be fresh for the middle of the season. That lull that seems to happen every year. It's going to give us a huge advantage when we have international breaks and guys are away. How can we get those guys fit and up to speed? So we're excited for that competitive advantage that we have.
There's a lot of talk about scoring goals, but how important is a combination in the middle, just in terms of creating space, I guess, all over the field?
Yeah, playing through the middle is really important for us, obviously, through our 2-6s. Being able to find the balls in the half spaces to myself and Albert, really important for the way we want to play. And then once teams start closing in the middle, we're able to kind of isolate guys 1v1 with Leo, Pedro, Alex, or myself. And that's what's going to free up space, right? There's times where we just played out wide and try to cross balls in. And so this year, it's about being able to do both, depending on what the team gives us.
What kind of change, if any, have you seen in Albert's game now that he's sort of more focused on being an attacking player?
I think his arrival in the box is his timing in the box is really, really good, and his first touch finishing. I think there are times where he was frustrated when he would play as a 6 or an 8, and he wasn't involved in finishing drills and all that. So his sharpness in front of goal is something that we saw at the end of last year. His arrival in the box, his composure on the ball, he seems to never lose it. And again, I think he's just a player that just reads the game really well and is really quiet, it seems like, on the field, and always seems to be unprotected.
What do you make of playing with replacement referees this weekend?
It is what it is, right? I think it's important for the referees to fight for their rights, their pay, their working conditions. I think it's very human-like to be frustrated with what is being offered and the amount of work and travel that they had to do. And so, rightfully so, they're fighting for what they want to fight for. And I hope that the replacement referees do a good job. But it's, for us, it's about what we can control, right? It's about the quality of the soccer that we play. Whatever happens, but I think it's okay for the refs to fight for what they want to fight for.
How important is it to keep the consistent defense from last year to this year and even get better?
Yeah, very important. Obviously, we had a good defensive record, and that helps with the continuity that we have from year in, year out. Hopefully we get even better, right? It puts a lot less pressure on scoring goals. However, that's something that we need to improve on. But just the ability to have that continuity, both in set pieces and even offensively, they're going to help us get goals.